Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I want to share with you some thoughts around land production and maximizing your returns financially within Pretoria. There's some notable math that you can take advantage of and recognize, and it's going to also include some tools that we're going to describe and share. So I hope you stick around for this one. If not, maybe check out the next video. Okay, so I recently bought a tract of land. And I did so from Jeff. So thank you, Jeff. Shout out to Jeff, Opens Cards, 74 moors deep. And I'm excited to have that one. But I have some productivity. I have 2 or 3 different notes that I'm going to share with you from land production. First things first, update on my land leasing with Azurcon. I have 10 plots that are producing wood. The finances of that are not meaningful. And truth be told, I'm not sure if this is going to be something that's functional for me long term. I think if asset prices of natural resources in land were to skyrocket, and there is a foreseeable future where that's possible, then I would maybe say land leasing, where you bore someone's plot of land, activate it, and extract that resource, could financially be worth it. But so far, it isn't. And I think the real thing with land that you want to always recognize is, whatever you're able to do, if you do it for yourself, if it's 1 out of 100 sort of success or progress towards what you ultimately would want, it's still yours. And so in this way, with 10, with me borrowing or leasing or holding it for a short time, I don't know how financially valuable that is going to be to me. But that is where we're at, and I am producing a good amount of wood over here. So I got 370,000 DEC in this tract, and every now and then I come in here and I harvest from 3 days ago. I did it already, but we can do it again now. And doing that requires grain. And I sent grain over here from my other region in order to pay these bills. But something we're going to see in a minute is that, frankly, if you're harvesting natural resources and only natural resources, there's almost no difference between the resources. Almost no. I didn't say none. We'll talk about the differences in a minute. But producing wood, burning grain to produce wood, you're just as better off to produce grain. I'm going to show you the numbers in a second. Same with iron, actually, but not true with stone. Stone is particularly valuable. And so that's an update on my land lease. But then on my other lands, I have 23 plots in Baxton, which is gank land. If you guys are interested, I'm willing to trade some of these for Conclave Arcana cards. I would be interested in that because I now own a tract of my own that I really need to lean into. And so this is right now, this is the only place I'm producing Aura. And I've got 3 work sites that are producing Aura. And I just harvested this a minute ago, and I produced 9,800 or something like that Aura, and I kept 8,800 or something like that after taxes. Call it 9,000. And those numbers are important, so hold on to that. With 3 tracts of land and 3 days, I produced 9,000. The productivity is there per hour. If you wanted to see, we could calculate it again, but I just claimed, and it was 9,000 roughly. That has a financial value to it. If you went to the marketplace and you can see that the marketplace for other items, other items, midnight potions are going for 4 cents. Now, 4 cents is actually really affordable in my opinion. I think this is a buy, but at this price point, the Aura Labs are well paying for themselves. This is an important point. I want you to hear this. If you have access to a land plot and you can produce Aura Labs and produce midnight potions and sell them for 4 cents, which they are moving because there was some selling for 3.9 and they sold, this is going to produce financial revenue to you. And I can prove it, using Splinter. So let's go back to my sheet first. When I go harvest all, what I saw earlier today is that the region harvest from Baxton, this is my region 23, my Aura Labs have produced, it tells you a breakdown. You're going to need this much grain, you're going to need this much wood, this much stone, and this much iron. And it was, I'll tell you the numbers now. You can't see it anymore because I already claimed it. But it was 80,000 grain, 40,000 wood, 16,000 stone, and 4,000 iron in order to claim 9,000 Aura. So you don't need to memorize those numbers, but those are particular and specific numbers that cost that I had to pay in order to claim the Aura. Now, but Is that worth it? It's hard to know, right? Well, this is how you can know. This is another piece of information you should know if you're harvesting land. I know that it was a financial benefit to me to have to do that aura. And how do I know it? I went to splinter-lands.streamlit.app and I put in those numbers: 80,000 grain, 40,000 wood, 16,000 stone, and 4,000 iron. And that would cost right now, the market would 5,500 SP or DEC in order to buy those resources. Now, here's the thing. I didn't have to buy all those resources. I have a lot of grain. I have, a fair amount of wood, a growing amount of wood, and I have some iron. And so I don't need to buy all those. But even if I did need to buy all those, in order to produce 9,000 aura, would that financially be worth it? It actually would. Let's check this out. So we come back in here, we go into overview. So you're in your production overview and you go to artesian quarter. This is where you can craft if you're able to craft. And so I come into region 23. I don't have any more to produce. I don't have enough balance of aura to produce. But here's the deal. I just told you it was roughly 8,800 aura after taxation. 8,800 aura after taxation. And so we take, if we just went like this and we go 200, no, 220, 220 potions would cost 8,800 aura. That's what I just claimed. That's how much aura I just claimed with those resources I showed you. So with $5.50 worth of DEC worth of resources, I claimed what amounts to 220 midnight potions. How much are 220 midnight potions on the marketplace? Again, 4 cents per. So 4 cents times 220, let's go to the calculator. 220 times 0.04, and that's an $8.80 valuation. So financially, the midnight potions are producing revenue, even if you have to buy every single resource that is involved in the production. Your grain, your wood, your stone, your iron. Even if you have to buy all of it from the marketplace, you're still turning a good 40% profit on that exchange. And so I would argue that this is a noteworthy point that you should recognize and take advantage of maybe. And here's the deal too. 4 cent midnight potions are probably, there might be room for them to come down in price because there was a unique desire for them at the beginning of Conclave release. But my point would be that I actually think there will be renewed desire for midnight potions and therefore an uptick in the price point in coming days and weeks. Because we know, because of Yabanius, the pickle is going to have a particular method of becoming available to players. So check this out. This is one of the ways you're going to be able to do is an auction. In order to auction black foil copies of this thing, you're going to have auction points, and the auction points have to be crafted. How are they crafted? Using aura. And so that's going to be a sink for aura, which means that black midnight potions the construction of them will be reduced. If supply is diminishing, then demand, all things considered, should allow price to rise. That's one piece of this picture. But then another thing is this pickle will also be given away. The gold foil arcane version of it will be raffled off, and that requires aura to buy raffle tickets or to mint raffle tickets, vouchers as well as aura. And so again, now the pickle is going to create 2 different sinks for your aura, which means again fewer midnight potions. And so I would be inclined to suggest that midnight potions are probably, this is a bit of a low. It could drop further, and that would be okay from a production value. Even if you have to buy every one of your resources, as I showed you, $8.80 is what I got, $5.50 is what I had to pay. I mint some of my own natural resources, so that offsets the cost as well. But these are very profitable, at least in the short term, and maybe because of the pickle, in the long term as well, or the medium term as well, with these things coming up relatively soon. And so that's exciting. And I think there was one more thing I wanted to show on my land. Yeah, I've got a tract. The final thing I just wanted to quickly mention is I got a tract, and I haven't begun to activate it yet, but I'm very excited for the long-term future of Splinterlands, Pretoria, and what land is. Not just because of midnight potions, because of items and spells, and I believe that's going to come, but also because of being able to produce more and more things and assets and, tradable peer-to-peer items that you can only access through land. That's exciting. I believe in the future of Splinterlands, and therefore I'm excited about land. I'm glad to be a tract holder, and I think people who see the future of what Splinterlands could be are going to be in the same boat as me. They're going to desire some connection with land. It might feel like it's such a trivial sort of return in the short term, but it's an exciting medium to long-term opportunity. And so that's my view on land, and that's my plan, and that's my current situation and setup. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about that or any of the math that I said with respect to backfoils. I do think midnight potions are a buy at 4 cents, and yet I think they also will go higher because of all the things related to pickle. Let me know in the comments if you believe and you agree. I'll leave it there. Have an amazing day. God bless.